What's up, guys? We just came from an awesome playthrough of Far Cry 5, and we're here with Mr. Andrew Holmes. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Drew Holmes. I'm the lead writer on Far Cry 5.
All right. And, man, I'm at a loss for words, man. That was an amazing experience. I just have to say the same thing I told him. I hate your cows. A cow just assaulted me and vanished, and it alerted everyone. It just vanished. It was taunting me. I had to kill every cow.
Animals, you gotta be careful.
The
wildlife is dangerous. It's not just the cows, it's the pigs, it's the wolverines, skunks. Skunks are brutal in this game.
They're not called wild for nothing, right?
Exactly.
All right, so we have just want to get to know a little bit more about the game. We have a few questions here. Does any of the current political climate have an effect on the narrative of Far Cry?
I think when we built the initial story, the concept of Far Cry 5, it was several years back, right? The idea of setting the game in the U.S., was as far back as after Far Cry 3 was done. Dan Hay, the creative director, has always talked about bringing Far Cry to the United States. So it was, about 3-4 years ago, it was, okay, we're going to do this in earnest. Started exploring different places, landed in Montana. As soon as everyone went there to sort of do a scouting location, they fell in love with it. They're like, absolutely, this is the Far Cry location. And that was a few years back. And so, the idea of the cult and the idea of resistance, it all started to form well before a lot of the current political tension in the world. It sort of cropped up in the U.S. But I think, it is the game itself and the themes and the characters are reflective of the climate that we find ourselves in. So there's nothing that was specifically crafted, but at the same time, whenever we sort of talk about the themes of the game, we talk about this idea of the world feeling on the edge. There's a sense of unrest globally. No matter where you live, you sort of watch the news, you read the newspaper, and you're like, there's a lot of danger. It just feels much more dangerous than in the past. And that is the message that Joseph Seed, the leader of the cult, is giving to his people. He's saying the world is on the brink. He believes that God has told him that the end of the world is coming, and he's going to save these people. And so for us, that's the thrust of the story. That's the genesis for everything. And the everything else that sort of happened around is kind of an eerie coincidence for us.
How was the research done for this? I mean, I assume it must have been daunting. I mean, looking into like our religious cults, how I see how the behavior is very. You were able to really get that. Even with the small interactions that the NPCs have with each other, there's a certain tone. There's a certain. How was it? How was the entire research? How did you go about that?
Well, you read a lot. You talk to people that are a lot smarter than you and have a lot more knowledge than you do, and you really start to. It starts with information gathering, right? We researched a lot of different cults. We brought in people like Rick Ross, people that have dealt with cults, people that know how they're put together, how they influence people, how they control people, and then we start to say, okay, how are we going to make this our own? How do we make this cult with this message that Joseph has feel believable, but not be too reliant on reality and things that have happened before. We sort of use that to inform us and go from there. So there was a lot of data that we sort of sifted through before starting to say, okay, how do we make this our own? How do we make this feel Far Cry, which is sort of the what we always like to say is reality is stranger than fiction. And it's about how does this feel plausible, feel believable, but at the same time elevated to that sort of Far Cry madness level of a Voss or a pagan man, and now Joseph Seed, who has a very clear goal, absolutely stands for something, and he believes that he's doing the right thing, but he's so consumed by his own madness that he's going to stop at nothing to achieve his goal.
There have been like this Far Cry 5. There have been other Far Cries before. Being the lead writer, how did you? What did you add? Like a personal touch? Did you have like a certain goal with how different the story would be from everything else?
Yeah, I think for me, it started with, okay, we know that Voss and Pagan Min are sort of the iconic villains, really the people that you remember the most from the previous games. For me, I always fall back on character. That's really what's driving the story for me. It's especially when you're talking about a game where you can lose yourself for 100 hours in the game. 100 hours of plot in a game doesn't really, you lose momentum a lot.
Right.
So for me, it's about characters. Who are you going to spend time with? Who are you going to spend time getting to know? So I sort of looked at previous Far Cry games and saying, okay, you'll kind of only remember 4 or 5 people per game. There wasn't a wide array of characters that you sort of stuck with. So the challenge that we sort of put to ourselves as a team was, how do we make not just memorable villains, but memorable companions, the resistance, right? The people that you're going to be helping, the citizens of Hope County. We wanted them to stand out and feel just as real and believable and empathetic as the villains. So that's where we built people like Grace Armstrong, Nick Rye, Mary May, and that's just in one region. There's 2 other regions, 3 total in the game, for you to meet these people, spend time with them. There's guns for hires that you can recruit who have their own sort of viewpoint on the world, and then you get all those people together and they've got conversations that'll just sort of dynamically happen as you're progressing through the game, so that everything feels much more alive, much more grounded in Montana and the people that you would meet and the opinions you would hear. So for me, that biggest challenge was how do we create a vast array of characters. So we got probably upwards of 50 characters, I think we're at.
Wow.
Of named characters with real personalities that you can spend time with. And I think what's cool about it is that there's so many different types of people that you're going to be able, everyone's going to be able to sort of find their favorite character or the person they like to spend time with, or the person that they really just don't want to spend any time with, they don't like.
All right. Aside from the challenges that you encountered with this, without spoiling anything, can you give us what's the most awesome thing here that we can look forward to?
Oh man.
Or at least, sure. Let's keep it in theme. Can you give us like 5 things that we'll look forward to the Far Cry 5?
Sure. And some of them I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to do it anyways.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No. But I think for me it's the characters you'll meet. Number 1, my favorite is Herc, who's been in Far Cry 3 and been in Far Cry 4. He's coming back this time, and he's going to be a guns for hire that you're able to meet. And we've expanded on the backstory of Herc a bit, and you're gonna see a bit of Herc's home life that maybe no one ever really thought to investigate or really ask those questions. And it's absolutely my favorite part of the game is spending time with Herc. I think that the scope of the game itself, the world is the biggest Far Cry map that we've made.
This is number 2.
Number 2. Sorry.
All right.
Number 2 would be the size of the game, and the recreation of Montana itself. There's so much stuff to get lost in, whether it's going and meeting people and doing missions, doing outposts, going on treasure hunts, all things that there's. Every step of the way that you're exploring the world, there's something for you to do. You're uncovering something new to find. The third, I think, would probably be how we've broken the structure of the game. Previous Far Cries were very linear. You would have these missions. You'd have to go. Okay, there's a mission icon on your map. You go and complete that, and that moves the story forward. Far Cry 5 is completely non-linear. So after the events of the opening of the game, your friends are taken from you, you're alone in the middle of the world, and you can go in any direction, and you can go talk to whoever you want and explore, and we're not dictating your path through the game. We're not dictating the way that you're sort of snacking on missions or outposts or hunting or what have you. What we created was something called the resistance meter, and in each region, the goal is to build your resistance and take out the bad guy in that region. So I go out and I can free hostages, I can take outposts, I can complete missions, and all of those are sort of awarding me different resistance points. It's filling up my meter, earning me new friends that'll fight on my side in terms of allies, as well as alerting the cult that, there's someone in this region that's pushing back, and the cult's going to be aware of you, and the bad guy will insert himself into your story. You'll have a special story mission that you'll have to complete. And then that rising tension of the resistance meter, the difficulty going up, the cult sending more and more bad guys after you, I think is a fun way to keep up the pace and the tension in an open world game without saying, okay, now do this, now do this, now do this. I can pick and choose how I want to push the story forward. Yeah. Number 4, I think would be the Guns for Hire themselves. The ability to call in an AI companion, whether that's just a random person that you meet on the side of the road who's got a rocket launcher and is like, I want to kick some cult ass.
That's
You're like,
great.
okay,
That's great.
you're with me. Or finding specialist Guns for Hires like Nick Rye or Grace, where I meet them, I do a task for them. They say, you know what? I think you're the person to lead us. So if you want me, yeah, I'll fight by your side. And
sorry.
No, using them, I think, really changes the approach to the game. If you go down in the middle of a fight, they're watching your back. They'll run by. They'll pick you up, get you back into the fight.
Great system.
Yeah, it's really fun. The 5th one.
Right.
This is racking my brain.
This is the Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5. I think the new vehicles that we've added. The ability to hop on a plane and just shoot from one side of the map to the other in a plane with machine guns on it and dropping bombs. Haven't had that before. You had the gyrocopter in Far Cry 4,
right.
But now being able to fly attack helicopters and planes and have dogfights with AI in the sky really adds a whole new dimension to the game.
We like our good destructive elements.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Far Cry without it. Thank you so much.
Of course.
It's so I'm so glad that I was able to talk to you because I'm such a story guy as well. So I like the nuances, like how there's a belief system, how there's a resistance system. I like that there are so many systems embedded into Far Cry 5 to make it stand out from all the rest. Once again, thank you so much. Please invite our readers to for the release day on.
Yeah, we're releasing on March 27th on PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
All right. Thank you guys, and once again, thanks for joining us for this special video. You saw the gameplay. I deny dying 4 times. Those were alternate lifespans, and thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure with you. Till next time, guys. Keep on gaming.